Happy Friday. I'm so glad you could join me this evening. It happens to be the 1st of October, and that means the beginning of the Halloween season. And you know what the lesson of Halloween is, don't you? It's that pretending to be something you're not will lead to a sweet reward. Speaking of which, I remember when Halloween was the scariest night of the year. Now it's election night. Oh, I'm sipping on a special cognac by Cavassier, and I can't imagine anything will frighten me tonight. Well, until Netter sees how much cognac I've had. Aged Boomer's here, though, to keep me on track. So good luck to all of you. Strap in, because here we go. And Netter just gave me the look. She's like, how much you drinking tonight?
Is it a scary look?
Well, for me, for you guys, it's probably a little bit funny. What you sipping on, Aged Boomer?
I got myself a Canada Dry Ginger Ale.
Yeah, because you got to work tomorrow. I know.
So, let's see here, though. We're October, Halloween season, huh?
I know, right? So,
break out the candy corn.
For me, this is the beginning of the holiday season in general. It kind of goes straight through the new year. It goes October, we got Halloween, November. Well, actually, you got even before that, you got the Klingon holiday of Chitlop. I'll be doing some stuff on the other channel about that. Then Halloween, and then in November, we got Thanksgiving. We got Life Day, right?
Oh.
We got Netter's birthday in December. Christmas, that's Jesus's birthday. And then New Year's. And then my birthday. And then we take down all the decorations. That's the plan. Do you have any extra holidays in there that you celebrate, Aged Boomer?
What's the? Let's see. There's Veterans Day, correct?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Memorial Day. Memorial Day's in the spring. Yes, Veterans Day. Columbus Day used to be a thing in New Jersey a long time ago.
Oh, it's not politically correct now, right?
Yeah, of course not, because and let's see. I'm trying to think what else. That was like the Italian St. Patrick's Day. That's what that was. Okay, I always kind of saw that as that was the big.
Well, maybe, yeah. I mean, I tend to think of the when I think of the Italian St. Patrick's Day, I think of St. Joseph's Day. That's
yeah.
As far as, but that's a Catholic feast day. That's not a go out and party type of day.
Gotcha. Because I saw Columbus Day as like the Italian celebration, Italian Heritage Day.
Yep, because he was Italian. He was. He sailed for Spain, but he was Italian. Absolutely. But
who wasn't
in fact, if I remember correctly, they talked about that in The Sopranos.
Yeah, there was a wonderful episode where people are staging a protest against Columbus and they're getting all angry. But they had the permits to be there, and the other guys did it, and it becomes this whole thing about Artie Bucco gets angry. Like you see, like an effigy of Columbus being hung on a rope. All this.
And this was before all of this Summer of Love bull crap,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And what's funny about that is, you got your high morality and how, imperialism's wrong and all this kind of stuff. And yet you're totally okay with committing your own kind of crimes, right? Like balancing it out. 2 wrongs make a right or whatever. It's like these kids, someone should just kick them in the head for crying out loud.
Yeah. Well,
but so today was the premiere for the
Many Saints of Newark.
We'll talk a lot more about that on Sunday. I'm sure by then we'll both have seen it, right?
I'll do what I can. I have
Okay.
access, so I should be able to watch it. Yeah.
But they were talking today too. Oh, and I guess James Bond came out this week. I won't be watching it. I have no interest.
I might check it out if it comes to one of my streaming services, just because
Well,
I'm curious.
I'll tell you what.
Daniel's already warning me about it. Say, "Oh, you're not gonna like what," and I'll if I see it, I'll find out.
It's
I'm not excited to see it, by the way.
it's gotten good reviews. Okay, a lot of people are saying it's not as woke as we all thought it was going to be.
We have woke marketing. That's another thing we have to contend with.
This is exactly what I said. I said to the guys at Midnight's Edge today, I said, look, it may not be an SJW fest, okay, like it was marketed, but I have real problems with the gaslighting. That's my problem
with it, yeah.
And I decided back then I was not going to be seeing this. So I don't care that it's not woke now. I don't care that it's a good movie. I don't have any interest in it. I am not going to be seeing it. They're not getting my money anyway. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And
I have not been enthused about that last one, Dan Spectre. I know some people, I think Mark Kermode was talking about. I don't know why everybody picks on Spectre, because it was a bad movie. That's why people pick on Spectre.
Yeah.
It was not fun. I did not like Spectre. I tried. I thought, oh, cool, we're bringing Spectre and Blofeld into the mix. No.
I will try not to spoil anything, but keep in mind, this is what a lot of people keep saying, keep in mind, Daniel Craig is almost like over here. It's alternate universe James Bond.
You know, I'll have a question for you after the stream about
it's not in continuity with any of the other James Bond films.
Because now I'm having a suspicion as to what they did. Okay, but I'll ask you after the stream now. Okay.
Let me just put it this way. He's got time. He really does. I guess that's a spoiler if you think it hard enough.
Oh no.
If you think about it hard enough. But even the spoiler isn't 100%.
They either need to go back to the old continuity or they need to basically just scrap it. Okay.
No, from what I heard about the ending, they got to shit or get off the pot is what it really comes down to. Real quick, let me just, stop and say hi to. I am going to start at the end and work my way forward, okay? So, first that I'm going to mention tonight, Big Al of Big Al Presents. How you doing, my friend? So glad to see you. And the reason I'm doing this is because the last people here are the people that are freaking here. All these other people that are at the beginning that wanted to get in first, they had other things to do tonight. So I'm starting by focusing on the people that are here. Big Al of Big Al Presents. Joshua V, good evening. How are you, my friend? Skipper Kenner, you're here to see me get drunk. How awesome is that? Is Troy loaded yet? I wouldn't say loaded, but I'm well into this Cavassier, so, see how I go with this. Netter, of course, I love you, sweetie. Don't get too mad at me. I'm just relaxing and getting a little bit looser tonight. And I previously typed in to say hi to it's Courtney, Fellowship of Oddballs. I love seeing you in the stream. I understand you can't be here live, but you can be here Memorex whenever you feel like. That's perfectly cool. Sir Torin has the best reason for not being here. Tonight's opening night of his new show, so break a leg, my friend. And I'm just going to say Melissa Harris. Hi, Melissa. Stop by if and when you can. Because she's got a new name, and I'm not going to try to remember the new name. So, but what I was going to say, we, the whole Midnight's Edge talking about the Daniel Craig, side verse of James Bond and everything. And, some people having problems, some people not, whatever. Look. We've talked about this many times. In fact, this community came together talking about we have to vote with our dollars, right? And I was thinking about this, okay? And we've had this conversation, Boomer, and I tried having this conversation with other YouTubers in the community who are just too hard-headed and black-pilled to listen. But when you vote with your wallet, okay, There's only two votes, right? It's either they get my money, telling them I approve of what they're doing, or they don't get my money and they are completely unaware of my existence. Unless enough people don't spend money and they realize, oh, we screwed up somehow, But it took me back to my days majoring in psychology, DePaul University. They talked about, and keep in mind, these are different things: positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, and punishment. Okay? Now, here's the myth. The myth is that of those three, the one that teaches the best is positive reinforcement. That's not true. What's actually true is positive reinforcement is stronger. It works better than negative reinforcement. But punishment works better than all of them. I don't know what punishment would be. Punishment would be Disney going out of business, MGM Warner Brothers going out of business, somebody suing the pants off them. That's punishment. That's not something the average customer has access to. They have a choice between positive reinforcement, going and buying a ticket, buying the toys and the merchandise, or negative reinforcement, withholding your money, okay? And the fact is, positive reinforcement goes much farther than negative reinforcement. You go and you subscribe to Disney Plus because you like The Mandalorian. You go and you buy a poster. You buy the little Grogu toys or whatever. That sends a message, a positive message. Do more of that. Okay? When you cancel, and you tell them specifically it's because of Gina, I guess that might be interpreted as a punishment. But when you just withhold your money and don't go to the theater, that's negative reinforcement. They're not even aware of it. It means nothing to them. Why do I bring that up? Okay? Because first off, we have black-pilled people in our community that are like, boycott it all. Withhold your money from everything. It all sucks. It's all terrible. Okay, fine. You are no longer relevant. You're no longer relevant to the people that you're so pissed off at because they don't even know you exist. Okay? You're not even really relevant to the people you're bitching at on socialist media because, okay, you're just complaining about something else again today. I know you hate everything. Okay, Mikey, you hate everything. All right? So, whatever. But I am very positive about the fact that really everything I'm seeing out of Star Wars is looking good. Everything's looking up. Everything's looking positive to me. Why? What are you seeing that's negative?
Knights of the Old Republic remake. Lucasfilm.
Nah, that's old shit that was in the they'll get punished for that.
I hope
they'll get
so.
lots of negative reinforcement and
need
punishment
to keep
for that.
an eye on the games division right now. People are looking the other way on that. Be careful. Okay?
Well, because historically the games division has always been non-canon, right? So that's
from what I heard, though, Lucas himself liked Knights of the Old Republic so much that he made it canon when he had seen what they did with it. He was the original.
And I think that's why the original Knights of the Old Republic will remain canon. Keep in mind, this is not anything that touches the movies right now, so it's not going to affect anything that John's doing. But all it takes is for just one reference to a character from the video games, and you'll see pretty clearly what is and is not canon. But be that as it may, I'm feeling pretty good about a lot of this stuff, and I don't know if you've been following, and I'm not taking any wind out of our sails for Sunday. We'll be talking about all of this in much more detail, but Kathleen Kennedy got her first little teeny tiny Attagirl, a little award from the Cary International Film Festival. is honoring her this year as a Irish woman of renowned in entertainment or whatever. And this is exactly what Cameron Pasha and Stephanie Janashek and myself have been predicting is going to happen. She's not going to get renewed, but she's going to get a lot of Attagirls. She's going to get, awards from all these different places. Woman of the Year, entertainment, women in entertainment, lifetime achievement, all that kind of BS. Pat on the head, go away now. And then I'm guessing maybe next year we hear Jon Favreau's being put in charge of Lucasfilm. Or Lucas is being put in charge of Lucasfilm. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, we'll see what happens. I think that out of all the Disney divisions, it seems like Star Wars might be the healthiest, only because it went through some very nasty stuff with that awful trilogy that they made.
There's a vicious rumor going around about me in the chat that I need to address. No, Skipper Kenner, I have not run out of Kraken. I just felt like tonight was a cognac night. Although it's really not cold enough, so maybe this wasn't a good call, but I'm committed now. I really am. But hello again, Courtney, Fellowship of Oddballs. I've been talking about you, so I don't know if you've heard the nice things I've been saying about you. I am having a good evening. I believe the chat is having a good evening tonight as well. And again, thank you for being here. It's always incredibly encouraging to see you in the chat, and you're always welcome. And it's encouraging that you stop by and say hi. You are welcome here at all times. So if you need to jump out, I know like Friday Night Tights is going on, and some of the other channels and whatnot. Friday's a busy night. I get that, but. Yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Maybe I'm tonight channeling a little bit of my inner Big Al, being annoyed with the black pill people out there that hate everything, and saying support what you love. A little bit of my inner Trey of Max World Entertainment. Just support what you love instead of bashing what you hate all the time. And we can bash things a bit. We can be annoyed about some things, but there's a lot of good things going on. That's not the topic for tonight. We'll talk more about that on Sunday. I just wanted to get that off my chest because I don't feel like I've really said that poignantly,
Right now, with Disney, I don't know about the other stuff, though. Like, they have other divisions as well. We have what's left of 20th Century Fox. I think they still release movies.
Yeah.
We have
and admittedly, I have not been following those things that closely. I'm focused on Star Wars, a little bit on what's going on with the... and be sure to follow Valiant Renegade. Go ahead and hit the subscription for him and the like and the whatnot. He has some great analysis about the ScarJo.
I watched that today, yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk more about it on Sunday. We'll give you the kind of the wrap up. But if you want the nitty gritty details, go check out his 2 videos.
Apparently, she made out pretty well. She's going to star in a Tower of Terror movie.
So maybe to I'll get in because I need to think about this over the next 48 hours.
Gotcha.
But gut instinct is that, and I said this kind of going into it, ScarJo is the small fish. She's the minnow that you put on your hook to catch the bigger fish, okay? And I think that Chapek and Disney are like, okay, we're annoyed with you. We wanted to settle with you out of court. You decided to make it public. We got our licks in. No pun intended. And now we are offering it again. Take it. Because take a look at these Shang-Chi numbers. We're going to bury you in court if this goes to trial. We want to close this out and end it now. And she said, okay, half is good. Half is better than nothing. And she took it. Because the bigger fish... Oh, and she gets the Cruella treatment. We'll give you this other movie, and, we won't blackball you, and then we'll send you on your way, and you can retire happy. Make sure you invest that $10 million or whatever it was.
Spend it all at Reno.
The real battle to watch. Okay? Remember all the, no, there's no war going on at Lucasfilm. The war at Marvel right now is between Chapek and Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige is now in the crosshairs. He's the one who set up ScarJo, and that gained him no points, but it definitely got the attention of the powers that be. He's in the crosshairs now. And
so he may be the big loser in this whole scenario.
And the whole Shang-Chi thing does not help him in the slightest. And the star of Shang-Chi coming out in favor of, Cuties fans has not helped him either. He's out there alone on a branch right now. So let's see what happens with Marvel going forward. It looks like the best movie that Marvel's got going isn't even a Disney film. We'll talk more about that on Sunday too. So make sure you're subscribed to my designated driver here, Aged Boomer, Sundays, Geeky Geezers. We'll talk about all the geeky news. Now let's focus on the holiday season. Let's focus on Halloween. Mr. Matchstick, and subscribe to Mr. Matchstick, because on Tuesday we will be talking about. We'll be returning to the Cultural Fortress and talking about some things that we enjoy, right?
Yes, and that's important. And I think we enjoy the Halloween season, do we not?
I do. I love to cosplay. Although I joke in my thumbnail, I say that I don't pretend to be anything that I'm not, except sober. Occasionally, I pretend to be sober. But in all honesty, I do like to do the cosplay. I do like to dress up. Don't go trick or treating anymore. I don't like people that much, so I don't even bother with that. But
that's because you're living in an area where people were all panicking, right?
Honestly, to be honest with you, I didn't even much enjoy trick-or-treating when I was a kid. I did it a couple times, and my mother took me around, and I'd look at what I got, and it was all a bunch of crap. Only about like 25% of it was candy that I really liked, and it was always, like you get those, what is the caramel balls dipped in chocolate? They come in a yellow box. What is it?
Whoppers?
No, not Whoppers. Those are malt.
Milk Duds.
Milk Duds, right. I loved Milk Duds. But you get literally 4 Milk Duds in those little freaking so-called fun-size boxes. That's not fun. Fun is the big-size box.
Okay.
And my mom kind of put it in perspective. She said, you can go out there and you could, run door to door begging and get whatever scraps they give you. Or we could just go and buy whatever you like. So, little 8-year-old Troy thought, oh, this is great. I can get big boxes of, any, whatever I want, right? 9-year-old Troy realizes that's a fast track to getting sick. Maybe it's not that much fun. So, yeah, I enjoy the dressing up. I enjoy the play. I enjoy the movies. I enjoy the ambiance. I really enjoy, you wouldn't understand this, Boomer, you're in Florida, but up here in the Midwest, I enjoy autumn. It's just the right temperature. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. Get a lot more gray. I like the gray. I like the overcast. I asked the Echo Dot, what's the weather for tomorrow? And, it's going to be mostly cloudy. Yeah. Okay. Is it going to rain? No, it's not going to rain. Whatever. That's fine. But, Skipper Kenner, really quick before I head out, they announced a NECA Elvira figure. Netter, take note of that. I'll get that for you. Trying to get my kid to watch Kochek. Oh, yeah. And nothing great from Mego yet. Back soon. Yeah, I saw that Topps, this week's special, wasn't real interested. It's who's the star of the Planet of the Apes? Charlton Heston's character.
Heston, yeah.
Yeah, his character got a Neko figure,
Taylor,
but it's
Taylor.
Taylor, thank you. Taylor is the exclusive over at Topps, along with the mutant from Beneath the Planet of the Apes, or whatever the one is with the the guys that worship
That's
the bomb.
Beneath
the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, those two figures are the exclusive for this week.
No,
I've got.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
But apparently, Mego was able to get a hold of those licenses, which was, near and dear to their hearts because that was one of the big ones back in the 70s, So yeah. So since you've brought up the topic, Skipper Kenner, I wanted to share with you, these are not Mego figures. These are NECA figures. NECA, N-E-C-A. They look like Mego figures, but they're twice the price. So, Netter got this one for me. This one is, let me, you know what? I'm just going to pull up. Yeah, there we go. So I want to bring this in, try not to have too much of a glare on it. So that's Jason from, what is it? It's Jason Lives, whatever number that was. Part 3, 4, whatever it is. Oh. No, it's got to be from part 4, right?
Yep.
So what I love about this is it's the classic. It's got the hockey mask. It's the green and the jeans and all torn up and this is the Revenant Jason, right? I mean, was Jason dead before Tommy Jarvis chops him into little pieces at the end of part 3? I don't know, but he's definitely dead then, and he's definitely a Revenant when he comes back, in 4, right? So
no,
this
part
is
4 is when he gets chopped up, isn't it?
Well, not if Jason lives.
That's
Jason dies in 3. He comes back.
No. 3 is 3D.
In fact, it's even got the lightning rod that Tommy puts into him.
No, that's
to bring
6.
him back to life.
That's part 6.
Well, maybe it is part 6.
Yes.
The lighting's not real good here, so I can't see.
Part 6.
It goes.
Part 5 is the fake out.
Friday the 13th part, and then whatever part it says, I can't see because it's inside the bubble.
That's good because that's good. That's good packaging.
Oh no! Wait, I can just turn it around.
Oh, there
You're
go.
right. Part 6.
Part 6.
Part 6. Thank you.
No, in part 1 through 4, he's a mortal. Well, he's not really in part 1. In part 2 through 4, he's a mortal being that just keeps coming back after you think he's dead. Okay, but he's.
I will accept that. I mean, I tend to agree with you, but that's not a hill I'm prepared to debate on because I know there are other people with other opinions out there. That's just their opinion. I don't know. Okay. But definitely by part 6, he is undead. No doubt about that. Okay.
Yeah, he's like a Frankenstein monster. Do you remember the one with the scanner girl in it, who could telekinetic powers like from scanners and all that?
I don't think I saw that one. I do have it on DVD. Okay. I have all of them on DVD.
I think she tries exploding his brain and it doesn't work because he doesn't really even.
Because he doesn't have a brain.
Yeah. I know.
But so anyway, the thing I wanted to say about this is this is partly why Mego could not get the rights because NECA had them. And again, NECA's at retail twice as much as a Mego figure. But what's even worse is I didn't get this when it came out. I didn't know about it. I wasn't paying attention to NECA. I was paying attention to Mego. And unfortunately, I had to get this on the secondary market. So Nanette got it for me for like twice the NECA price. 4 times as much as it would cost to get a Mego figure. But I got it. Unfortunately, because it's so expensive, I'm probably not going to take it out of the package. So, but I do have it. As opposed to
what?
Well, actually, before I get to that, I know everybody that follows me has already seen this. This is my custom Michael Myers figure, right?
Whoa.
Okay. This is a Mego body, all Mego clothing, okay? Specifically, from the neck down, it's an Action Jackson figure. Okay? The only thing is, the Action Jackson logo just took it off. And it's perfect, right? The knife comes from a NECA Michael Myers, and the head comes from a Savage World Michael Myers figure. Savage World, if you don't know what it is, imagine a vintage He-Man doll, He-Man figure. That body, okay, with the heads of different characters, right? And in this particular instance, they had Hellraiser, they had Michael Myers, they had all of them. But all the heads looked very cartoonish, with the exception of this one. I thought this one looked really, really good. And it's mostly compatible with the Mego bodies. You got to do a little bit of adjusting on making the post fit, but it fit, okay? So, and I did that because I was like, well, it doesn't look like Mego is going to get the license to do Michael Myers, so I'm just going to make my own. I wanted to do the same for Jason, but that mask and the head, it was very, very difficult. So I was glad when I saw that NECA had it. And then I saw that NECA put out a Halloween figure.
From Halloween 2.
Exactly. Exactly right. Again, twice the price of a Mego figure, but it's not terrible. $30, maybe 31. I think it's $30.99 at Target. And I got 2 of them. So I may open one up. I probably will. That's why I get 2, right? But I don't really need to because I made my custom figure. I mean, the head is slightly better, and you get the 2 options. The regular head and the one that's crying blood. I don't really know why that is, but whatever.
Is that from the movie or something? Does somebody launch something to his eyes or something?
Possibly. Yeah, I think so.
I haven't seen
It's
Halloween
been so
2
long
in a while.
since I've seen Halloween 2, yeah. I've seen 1 and 3 the most.
Yeah, because they're the good ones. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say
They
that
are the
out
good
loud.
ones. They are the good ones. You're right. And especially Halloween. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and open this one. I'm going to go ahead and open this.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Live on air, yes.
Do you have a Freddy Krueger figure?
I do have a Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger, as far as I know, has not been done by NECA. Freddy Krueger, the license was obtained by Mego. I actually have a freaking shit ton of these figures because I've got the minor variations of this because it was so easily available. Mego figures retail for less than $20, anywhere from $15 to $20. Okay, so they're not terribly expensive, and I ended up getting a bunch of them. So I've got the open one. I've got in package. I sent one to Big Al, in fact. Yeah, I mean, I definitely have Freddy Krueger, so they go together. I've also got Phantom of the Opera. I got all the classic Universal monsters, right? I got Leatherface. I got
Pumpkinhead.
I do have Pumpkin. Actually, do I have Pumpkinhead? I don't know.
Okay.
I've got Candyman.
Wait, is that the super expensive one?
No. This is the one we got at Target for
Yeah, well, I
$30.
One.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You scared me for a minute.
I can't bring myself to open up the Jason figure because it's so expensive. But maybe what'll happen is maybe Mego will get a license for it later on down the line. Who knows? That's what happened with the Bride of Frankenstein and Creature from the Black Lagoon. I ended up getting the Figures Toy Company version of those figures, very expensive on the secondary market, and then Mego got the license, and they're basically the same figure.
Al has a question for you.
Oh, what's up, Al? Should you really be opening figures under the influence? Netter's here to keep me from opening something that I shouldn't. She just verified with me that I'm not opening the Jason figure that she just spent $90 on. I'm opening the Michael Myers figure that we spent $31.
No, a new user, nerd for real life form.
Nerdporial life form.
Nerdporial. Okay.
Hello there. By the way, Troy Pacelli and the chat. Oh my! I am working on my Halloween video as we speak. So here's what we're going to do. Before I open any figures, I'm going to real quick copy this name, the Nerdporial Lifeform. I may already be subscribed. Let me go check. And in a separate tab, I'm going to do a search and find you. There you are. Oh, I'm already subscribed. Okay. But because I've just gone here, it's very easy for me to grab the link, copy, paste. Please go and subscribe to the Nerdporial Lifeform so that when he gets his Halloween video up, you'll already be subscribed and have hit the notification so you see when it comes up. And we're all caught up. Thank you so much for being here, Nerdpor. I have had enough to drink. That's very difficult for me to say.
Oh, he's got a Metroid Fusion Let's Play up on there.
And you know what? Maybe Al had something here because I don't think it's so much a concern about opening the figure so much as how difficult it is to open these things with a knife.
And you're certain that's the cheap one?
I am certain, sweetie. I've got two of them. Let's put it that way. Bringing out the big guns here.
Metroid Fusion. That was my favorite game on the Game Boy Advance.
I don't even know what that is.
Metroid Fusion is the fourth Metroid game.
No, the game system you mentioned.
Oh, the Game Boy Advance? You've heard of the Game Boy, right?
Well, I've heard of the Game Boy. That was the little handheld thing,
yeah,
right?
The Game Boy Advance was the last iteration of it. It had graphics similar to what you'd see on like a Super Nintendo. So,
wow, in a little handheld game?
Yeah, this was years ago. Yeah, this was actually turn of the century, actually. So
turn of the century.
Nothing new, but yeah, though they finally got up to par. Now the handheld.
That is a phrase you've got to really take advantage of with Aged Boomer. You know, turn of the century. You know, that's very on brand for you. You really
the Game Boy Advance. That was a great Nintendo handheld. Of course, now Nintendo's handheld and their console are one and the same because you could hook your Switch up to your TV or you could just bring it with you.
Yeah, I'll be happy when you can whatever big game system you have, you can get some sort of an app and just play it on your damn phone.
I think
start combining these
Google
games.
was trying to do that with their whatever they were calling it. Actually, I don't remember that now. The Google station, where their game console was called that nobody bought.
These are way harder to open than I thought they were. Jeez.
I don't know about you, but I tend to buy a lot of horror movie DVDs. So that's my kind of my.
Hey, look at this. So I got the figure here, right? And it comes in the little, tray or whatever. Is it? They really stick them in there. Is there? There's got to be something holding them in there. But what I find incredibly interesting. Oh, I see.
Twisty ties.
It's not a twist tie, it's a rubber band. I can just cut through that. And what do I find behind him? A little packet of gum. I get an action figure and gum.
That ain't no gum. I won't put that in your mouth.
I'm joking.
You add it to your salad. It's like salt.
So here's something I will say about this. The joints, I mean, yes, it's twice as much as a Mego figure, but its posability is better. It's got the swivel arm, so that means there's a swivel at the bicep here. The joints are tight and they click a little bit. This is the kind of joint that people probably wish that the what was the Hasbro, the HasLab that came for Marvel, the big, what are those things that hunt down the X-Men?
Sentinels.
Yeah. People probably wish the Sentinels joints were this good. But so good for value. The hands, they got swappable hands, swappable head. So it, in value, it's worth, the price. I mean, I don't mean this in a negative way. Mego is a cheaper figure, okay? If you want this quality of body, you got to get what's called the S-type body, which is an aftermarket secondary purchase, and then move all the clothes over to it, swap the head over. But I understand why they do that. They want to make it easy and cheap mass market, as if it's a toy, not as a collector thing. If you are a collector and you want the NECA level, then you buy the additional body. It ends up costing about as much. It would be like if there was a cheaper option that NECA gave you for getting these figures. But I don't know. It's whatever market you're trying to go after. I mean, because these are collector figures. There's no children out there that want to, play with Michael Myers. There's no children out there that want to play with Brady Bunch figures or Joe Namath or whatever.
What?
Right?
You mean the kids today have never heard of the Brady Bunch or Joe Namath? But they're supposed to like the things that I like. This is actually kind of a fallacy, I find these days. Like, I understand us being able to go back and enjoy the things that existed when we were younger. It's another thing to tell someone who's like 18 or younger to be tracking down this stuff.
So, real quick, I want to say hello to a new person in the stream, sort of. Hello, Luddites are us. That's actually Skipper Kenner, just on a different account. But it would be awesome, Stan. You outed yourself. You called yourself Stan. So it's now open game for me to call you Stan. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to me, and I'll get one more subscriber under this ID. That's how it works. And Courtney is back. Hi, Courtney. Good to see you yet again. And maybe Agent Boomer, you might want to read Lifeform's comment. It might mean more to you than it does to me.
Metroid Dread. Yeah, the next Metroid game in the mainline series is coming out soon. And Metroid 5, Metroid Dread. And it's a follow-up to Metroid Fusion. He's trying to play them in order while he gets up to the latest one that comes out next week. It's a big deal Nintendo game coming out soon. You play a bounty, intergalactic bounty hunter, Samus Aran, who has to go out and destroy all the Metroids, because the Metroids will, basically suck the life out of everything and destroy galactic civilization. The trouble is, when you wipe out all the Metroids, then the things that the Metroids were the predator of the X virus, and then the X virus starts attacking everything. It's a long thing. It's science fiction. You'd probably get a kick out of it if you were playing it.
What I find funny is I just saw myself up on the big screen, and it's like, that's how you know I've been drinking, when my eyelids are drooping. I'm feeling pretty good.
Luddites are us. It's he says he's a Stan from his other
Yeah,
account.
I was just
Okay.
commenting on that. I said, buddy, if you can hit the subscribe button for me, I'll get one more subscriber tonight, and that would make me very happy. Mr. Matchstick said, I don't really have much to say about Halloween themed action figures, but pictures of the McFarlane Nightwing Gotham Knight action figures were showed, and I'm absolutely going to pick it up. Maybe on Tuesday, if we get into the green room a little early, it might be interesting if you, Matchstick, myself, and Agent Boomer, we might want to have a little chit chat about McFarlane. I guess he's said some things that annoyed some people, and he started going down the woke path. Might be worth talking about. I don't know much about it because I haven't followed him. McFarlane never cared for his toys. I got to be honest with you. Not my thing.
Don't like the movie Maniacs or anything like that?
No. I did like his artwork when he was on Spider-Man, when he did the Spider-Man comics. But was not a big fan. And although I am very much aware of Spawn, never read it, never saw any of the movies, so I don't know too much about it. But actually, Spawn, my understanding of Spawn is probably a pretty Halloweenish type of thing if you're into superheroes too. So, I mean, something to think about. But, okay, so he doesn't know much about McFarlane either.
All right, but I'm trying to think what else though. So, you didn't like
Courtney, are you talking, when you say the He-Man new ones, are you talking about, did McFarlane do a He-Man run of figures or something like that? He-Man's not really my thing. I know Mexican Iron Man was really, really upset about, the He-Man show, or the Kevin Smith. I don't have strong feelings about He-Man. It's not my bag, but yeah. Kevin Smith can go fuck himself. Or he can go blow Marvel, apparently. His words, not even mine.
He said that? Oh.
Yes. He says, I suck the dick of Marvel. I want a job there. Please, Kevin Feige. And I'm like, Kevin Feige, you are not in a position to start fucking around with Kevin Smith. You don't need that shit.
They never wanted to give him a Marvel movie. He wanted to do Daredevil originally, the one with Ben Affleck. He has like a guest spot in that movie. It's like the coroner.
Because he do some writing for Daredevil, and that's why he got it.
Well, apparently, his writing, I think, on Daredevil and Green Arrow was actually pretty good. That's why people are all shocked at how poorly E-Man turned out. But yeah,
look, this is something you have told me. I know that it is foolish of me to be using my real name on the socialist medias. Okay, I know it is, because you and Skipper Kenner and Aged Boomer and all of y'all are smart enough to put out your content behind an icon, not use your real names. I'm more boomerish than you are. I'm maybe more aged than you are, because I just don't give a crap anymore.
Yeah, I might get there in a few years. You never know.
But, because I just don't care. But it's true. I mean, this whole cancel culture thing has gotten so bad that I don't know. I don't even know what to say about all that.
I'm finding these days, though, I'm not really caring for what the bigwig studios put out these days. I mean, not everything. Like Cry Macho looks good.
Honestly, I've said this many times. These trends in Hollywood happen very slowly. They are like trying to turn the Titanic, a very big ship with a very tiny pin. You don't avoid the iceberg by just hard to port. It takes a long time to turn. And I see them trying to turn away from this iceberg, this social justice iceberg. I see what Bob Chapek is doing. Bob Chapek does not give a flying fuck about diversity or anything else other than making money. He's a businessman. That's what we want running these companies, okay? Because if you care about money, you will give us what we want. You will give us good stories. That's it. And you'll stop fucking around, okay? And as Disney goes, so goes the rest of the entertainment industry. So I see it happening. I'm just saying, So there's reason to be hopeful. But it doesn't happen quickly. And you brought up, for example, the Knights of the Old Republic thing. All that was in play 2 years ago, and it's just hitting now. You can't just stop that stuff. Again, big boat, tiny pin. So we're still going to get some of that bullshit that, Kathleen Kennedy's people put out there and the licensing on the games and all this kind of stuff. And it has to happen, okay? This is where I get controversial. This is where I get canceled. If you could go back in time and kill Hitler, or you go back in time and could you stop 9/11 and all this kind of stuff, right? Would you do it? Yes, you could avoid bad things happening, but those bad things resulted in, well, this is bad. We can't let this happen, right? We got to go, whatever. If 9/11 didn't happen, we never would have gotten, what's that guy's name? Osama bin Laden.
Right.
Right?
Well, you're sounding like the Doctor when they told him you can go destroy the Daleks, and he's like, "Should I do this?" There were positive things that happened, like alien races joining together.
And it turns out, taking that further, the fact that he did try to exterminate, pun intended, the Dalek before they became the Daleks, led to the Time War that was horrible and destroyed the Daleks and the Time Lords and, all of that stuff. So he was right in the first place. Maybe I shouldn't do this because it led to the Daleks becoming what they were. You know what I mean? And it's the same kind of thing. Would you change history to do that thing? Bad things happen, but good can come of it. And if you, it's like lancing a boil, right? If you don't lance the boil now, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And then something, then you get septic and you die. Better to lance it and clear out the infection and get past it. I'm oversimplifying very, very complicated things. But, that's what it comes down to. So we have the same situation we're seeing with Bob Chapek. Bob Chapek is allowing bad things to happen so that he then has the cover to say, what are you doing? You're fired. At the risk of invoking, another very polarizing character, right? But, and he's not afraid to look bad himself in the short term to get a long-term payoff, We've seen that. That's why, Kamran Pasha says he's playing 4D chess. He's not afraid to take it on the chin and look bad in the short term, and have a piece come out in the trades that paints him as, being feckless and not taking care of things so that he can say, hey, look what they're saying about me. I need to get behind this thing. I need to get rid of this stuff. Well, now you can't come out and bitch at him about it. He's not being istophobe by doing it. He's being a good businessman. He has to. He has no choice because that's what the trade said about him. It's actually very smart. So, I mean, I think I really spent way more time on all this entertainment industry stuff than I had intended to.
Well, Luddite has a comment, though. He was saying, I'm catching up. I have several NECA figures, Ash, a complete set from the movie They Live. I prefer Mego for nostalgic reasons, but I love the details Nika does.
Yeah, and I think I kind of summed that up too by pointing out, that you are getting quality value from the figure. It's well built. It's not just a toy. It's good construction. Mego, you get what you pay for. It's a little bit cheaper in quality. It's a little bit cheaper in price. You can get more Megos, and there's something to be said about that. I got to be honest with you. I got some extra Invisible Man figures. This is what's interesting. The Invisible Man figure is clear plastic in a suit. I think that's very clever. Yes, it's very, very clever. That's the Invisible Man. The reason I got extra ones is because I want to use them for parts for custom $6 million man figures. The legs and the arms, so you can see, the insides, the stuff that I'm going to, stick in there to be bionics, But what's interesting, I'm gonna teach you a little bit of toy history, okay? So back in the 70s, not only were Mego figures cheap, but they were really cheap. They reused everything they could. All of the bodies, for the most part, were the same. All the female bodies, identical. They had two different styles of male bodies. The normal, average Joe type style, superhero, Superman, Batman, all those figures had that body. And the big muscular bodies, that was the Hulk, that was...
The Thing?
The Thing, thank you. So the big muscular ones. I take that back. There were three bodies because there was a fat body too. It was the Penguin and any overweight character was the fat body. So they had three body types, and all they did was they swapped out the clothes and the heads, and they reused the clothes as much as possible. So that's why you had a Planet of the Apes figure that had the same costume as the Klingon from Star Trek, and they weren't perfectly accurate to either. They were good enough, The lizard head from, Spider-Man's enemy, the lizard, with a brown skin tone instead of green, became the Gorn for, Star Trek.
What?
And yes, and he had the same costume as the Klingon. That was also from Planet of the Apes. I mean, there was a lot of that kind of stuff. And a lot of those kinds of the armor and stuff like that got reused on the Robin Hood and the King Arthur and all that kind of stuff. All there was a lot of crossover. And whenever possible, they reused heads. So, for example, they tried getting into the female little girl type Barbie type thing. So they had I can't, Skipper Kenner, if you're still in the chat, if you can remind me what the character's name was that Mego put out that was like their version of Barbie. And her boyfriend, instead of being Ken, I forget what his name was, but the body and head were the same as Superman. It was Superman's head. And it was just civilian type clothes, The same head that they used for Peter Parker was the same head that they used for Shazam. It was
so
reused.
If they met each other, it would be kind of awkward, huh?
Yeah, I guess so, right? But you didn't think about that too much because Peter Parker wasn't usually Peter Parker. Usually he was Spider-Man. So Spider-Man could play with, and that's assuming you knew the difference between Marvel and DC because you'd play the superheroes together, right? That was another interesting thing. Back in the 70s, Mego had the rights to both DC and Marvel. That's not ever going to happen again. But the reason I point that out is because they've kind of done a little bit of that today because the same head, the same mold for the Invisible Man figure was Al Bundy from Married with Children when they put out that line of figures. Same head, but it's kind of hard to tell because it's a see-through head. They were like, generic, anybody old, who cares?
Did they make figures for the Waltons?
Back in the 70s, they did. They had the whole line of the Waltons figures. They had Ma and Pa and Grandma and Grandpa and Little Joe. No, not Little Joe. What's his name?
John Boy?
John Boy. Yeah. They had all those figures. They even had play sets for the Waltons. They had the farmhouse, and they had the tractor, and they had the truck, and they had all kinds of stuff. Yeah. I didn't get any of those figures because it wasn't my thing, but it was a bigger sell with a lot of the girls, believe it or not.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know why, but it was.
Is it like a dollhouse sort of thing, maybe?
Kinda. Yeah, okay. Because the farmhouse very much was like a dollhouse.
Okay, so maybe that's how they were selling it. Like
and the show was a drama.
Right.
So I think that
it's
appealed
family,
a little bit more to the
so
girls.
you could maybe, that makes sense.
And it had the sisters, and it had all that, and so I could kind of see that. I watched every episode of the show, and honestly, again, 70s. This was little, I was born in 71, so I was, 1 to 10 in the 70s, right? So little Troy used to watch the Waltons, and I think they went off at 9 o'clock, and the whole shtick for the Waltons was, good night, Ma, good night, Pa, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, John Boy, good night, John Boy, good night, John Boy, good night, everyone. And, then they'd turn off the light and fade to black. And that's when it was time for good night, Mom, good night, Dad, good night, Troy, and I went to bed.
I think they might have mocked that on The Simpsons. I'm not sure. Where
they mocked that on a lot of things. In fact, for people of a certain age, the whole "Good night, John Boy," everybody knew what you were talking about.
Oh, Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. She watched the Waltons. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Not asking, but I'm just speculating that you're probably right in that same age bracket that me and Aged Boomer are. We probably chewed some of the same historic ground, I would imagine.
I remember a lot of movies, though. A lot of weird shows back in that. But what was I going to say, though? But
But I'll tell you what was real big in the 70s, getting us back on track with the Halloween theme.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff with aliens and Bigfoot and a show called In Search of, exactly, hosted by Leonard Nimoy.
I have the whole thing on DVD.
Very, very much. He was, I felt like that show and Leonard Nimoy was the, who's that guy from the Discovery Channel? Aliens. It's about it. I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. That was
Leonard Nimoy
what
led
In Search of was
authority to any subject matter he talks about, though. It's like you listen.
And he never really took it seriously either. It was just a paycheck to him.
They had some interesting. Was that like the whole thing about like a full moon? Do people really act differently on the full moon? And they were doing like historical stuff, like how. Some
wait a minute. Okay,
the full moon, it affects people.
Courtney just outed herself, so I'm not. I didn't ask, but she offered. She said that she's 43.
Ah.
You're a youngin', girl. I thought you were about my age, but you're like almost a decade younger than I am. So, no, I'm playing. I'm playing because Aged Boomer isn't really a boomer either. He's younger than I am too.
Yes, we're around the same age, Courtney and I. But it's the whole boomer thing came from, though, is that at some point everybody becomes a boomer. That'll happen to some of you.
Yeah, everybody who's not Gen Z, it seems like they consider to be boomers.
It's going to happen to you millennials. Wait for it. Okay. What was I going to say, though?
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. But I want to focus on the chat because I love these guys in the chat, hanging out with us. They're important to me.
Though. The Bigfoot episode, remember the Bigfoot episode of In Search of?
Let me tell you something. But now we may have lost Big Al. Okay, which is unfortunate because this is his bread and butter. Bigfoot, right? Back in the 70s, Bigfoot was a big freaking deal, right? Because there was that famous picture of Bigfoot walking and they get the photograph and it's like Bigfoot's turning back and looking at you and stuff. That comes from the 70s, right? And it was everywhere. and everyone was in search of Bigfoot. You know, they had the In Search of episode. They had all kinds of specials back then. They had movies. Talk to Big Al. Big Al talks about all the movies about Bigfoot, right? And Bigfoot shows up on all your favorite TV shows. First, he was on the $6 Million Man. $6 Million Man had several episodes with Bigfoot. In fact, played by Andre the Giant.
Yes.
Once. He was played by someone else in another thing, but, you know. And Bigfoot got his own TV series on Saturday morning, Bigfoot and Wild Boy. I used to watch that all the time. And in my mind, in my head canon, it was the same Bigfoot as in
$6 Million,
$6 Million Man, which, of course, is not true because $6 Million Man's Bigfoot was actually a robot made by aliens.
Oh, I posted.
Don't know what to tell you. 70s was a weird frickin' time. It really was.
I posted our good old days about the Saturday morning cartoons. Finally, I had to get it down to 15 minutes. I had to
we spent some time on that because sometimes you get a really good old days on Sunday night, and we just go off on it because
you were talking about the banana splits.
Tra la 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 la. Tra la la la
Wasn't there
la
another
la.
one like Hermie and the something, or like it had Charles Nelson Riley in it. I'm trying to remember what it was called. Charles, I'll find out for you in a minute.
Charles Nelson Riley, yeah,
he's a good actor.
He's a
good actor.
He was a character. I'll
he's
tell
funny.
you. You know what's funny too? I'll tell you something. The 70s, again, very weird time, very transitional time, right? Because these SJWs and their inclusion and representation, all that bullshit, all of that started in the 70s. Back in the 70s, you had people that were big celebrities that everybody knew. Everybody knew what they were doing in their private lives. And look at what was his name? He was the middle square in Hollywood Squares all the time. Come on, help me out here.
Hollywood Squares. I didn't watch it though.
Oh, come on, Courtney, help me out here. He was
Okay.
he was in Bewitched. He played Uncle Albert. It was
Lind.
Paul Lind. Thank you,
I
Natter.
like him.
Paul Lind. Everybody knew he was gay, and every joke he made on Hollywood Squares was with the assumption that you knew he was gay, right? And people would laugh and laugh. And I mean, it's funny because I know that there was all this talk in his memoirs and people that talked about him after he died, how closeted he was and how he didn't like to talk about it. And I'm like, bullshit, he didn't like to talk about it. It was his whole shtick. Everybody knew he was gay.
Have you seen the Paul Lind Halloween special?
I have it on, physical media because I created
I think it was streaming somewhere. I don't know if it was on YouTube or Amazon.
I've got it. Do you want it? I'll make you a copy of it.
No, I've seen it. I think it's available streaming. I actually think it's available.
Yeah, it's available in a lot of places. I pulled it down and made a DVD out of it just because own physical media, right?
Kiss guest starred, remember? Kiss,
yes!
Yes.
Oh, Kiss. I mean, that was, that was weird. They had a movie too, didn't they? It was like
The Phantom of the Park.
Phantom of the Park. Oh,
Remember
God. That was
good.
just, wow. I loved their shtick too because the four of them, they had their different characters, like they had superpowers or something, and it was the demon and the cat and the star child and who am I forgetting? The fourth one. Ringo Starr. I don't know. But
anyway, okay. No, but they had a Marvel. Didn't they have a Marvel comic going for a while?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. If they didn't, they should have done.
There was also one of my favorite episodes of the Millennium Show, which was those people that made the X-Files about serial killers and the end times and stuff like that. They had an episode where Kiss guest starred on the show, and they were shooting a movie based on Frank Black. He's the forensic profiler on the show. They were shooting a movie about one of his old cases. They were sensationalizing it, and of course,
yes.
The last murder happened. Yeah.
Courtney brings up Richard Simmons. I don't know for certain he's gay, but everybody assumes he is.
He's a flamboyant character.
He did a guest spot on Whose Line Is It Anyway? I mean, that show cracked me up every single time. But his appearance on that show, I laughed so hard I was crying because he would get into these compromising positions with the other guys, and it was like he would look and he'd be like smiling, and they'd be like, I got to do this, don't I? You know, I mean, it's just, I'm sorry. Yeah, Richard Simmons, you know, God bless him. I loved him. I used to do exercise in the mornings with his show before I go to school. You know, kind of, you know, the whole calisthenics in the morning get you going. Yeah, he was a heck of a character. The 70s was a weird time, people. It was really, really weird.
The Merv Griffin Show, that was another one.
I've been watching a lot of clips from the Merv Griffin Show lately. Basically because you know, my whole shtick with this show and everything, I've been looking back at a lot of Dean Martin and the Rat Pack and stuff. And just recently I saw him on the Merv Griffin Show, and there's a great one. He was really lit. I mean, I always got the impression that he didn't drink as much as he let on that he did, you know, and because it was just part of his gag. But he was on with Bob Hope on the Merv Griffin Show, and he was just ripped. And he was just blabbering all kinds of bullshit. I mean, it made no frickin' sense. And Bob Hope was like, no, don't look at me. You're doing fine. Keep going. Let's see where this goes. You know, it was just classic. Oh, man. Totally my kind of humor.
Was there ever a Wonder Woman or Incredible Hulk Halloween special that you can recall? Anything?
Neither of them had specials. They didn't have holiday specials of any kind, but like every other show of the era, they may have had an episode that was set in that.
Oh, I see, yeah.
You know, where it was set you know, I mean, Halloween, I don't remember specifically, but I could totally see somebody seeing the Incredible Hulk and thinking it was a costume or something like that.
Great costume, man. And he goes,
yeah, they did stuff like that all the time. What I do recall, and this is going back to, and if you guys are not yet subscribed, I've asked you twice already on this stream, please subscribe to Mr. Matchstick. Go back to his old shows, his Culture Fortress. I did one where I talked about the show V from the 80s. There was a great episode of V that takes place at Christmas time. And it was very much that whole, like, World War II, you know, getting through the war, fighting for freedom at Christmas time kind of feel. It was very, very well done. Even though the series itself was probably a little ill-conceived. But anyway, yeah. The 70s was a weird time. Weird, scary time. That's the time I grew up. That's when I came to love, you know, Halloween. That's where some of the best horror films came from. You know,
they used to have made-for-TV horror films.
They did. Did
you ever see Devil Dog, Hound of Hell?
Help me out with that one. I don't know that one.
Okay, it's like The Omen, but with a dog. Richard Crenna was in it. It's like this group of black-clad people that may worship Satan. Basically, they did some ceremony on this mama dog and her pups, and I don't know. And then they give out the devil dog, and like weird things start happening to the family. The kids start acting weird.
Let me tell you something, Major Boomer. What you're describing.
This was made for TV. This wasn't. You know.
I get it. What you're describing sounds a lot like, and I'm going to encourage anybody who's listening. Go on YouTube and check out Ghostbusters. I think it's called Ghostbusters Southside. It's It's a fan film. Ghostbusters. Here it is. Is that it? Not Ghostbusters Afterlife. Yes. Ghostbusters South Side. It's a fan film. And unfortunately, it's not, to my understanding, it's not a full movie. It's the beginning of a movie, or the first, like
First
in a
act?
series or whatever. Yeah, first act of a movie.
Okay.
But it's set south side of L.A., and it's, I don't know how many years after Ghostbusters, and two brothers start up a Ghostbuster division. Just like in, the real Ghostbusters and all that kind of stuff, where you have different divisions in different cities. And something has happened where there's no paranormal activity. So they don't know what to do with themselves. But they end up getting a call because some Satan worshipers or whatever, dredge up some sort of a spirit, and then they got to deal with it. But there's something that might be construed as an SJW storyline, but it is done so well and so appropriate that it bothered me zero at all.
Gotcha.
Okay, because the brothers, they're black, and one of the Ghostbusters is Hispanic and overweight. So there's some fat jokes there. Asian, can't remember if she was a Ghostbuster or she's the one at the phone that hits the alarm, but she also goes on the call with them. So she's like, think Janine, but Janine if she also suited up and went on the call with them. And they go into the house. They think the guy is dead and they encounter his ghost. But the big twist is the ghost is actually it takes whatever form of people he encounters. And the guy's not actually dead. So they're coming out with their proton packs on. And there's two police out there arresting the girls that were in the car. And they come out of the house and the cops turn their guns on them and say, put your hands in the air, drop your weapons. They're like, what weapons? These are our protesters. We're Ghostbusters, man. And then, of course, the guy who they thought had died comes out of the house and he's like, what are you people all doing in my house? But that's where it ends. And it's like, oh, I wanted to see where this went. It was so well done. And the proton packs, I mean, obviously this is a big deal to me because I'm putting together outfits for me and Nanette. And we're trying to be kind of, film accurate. But of course, we're not quite at the place where we're going to invest in a, super professional proton pack. We're going to just buy the Party City version or whatever it is, Spirit Halloween or whatever. And I'm looking at the one they've got, and it's not 100% accurate to the movie, but it's really well done. Like it's their own version of it. I'm like, that's really good stuff, I don't know. I encourage you to check it out. Ghostbusters South Side, it's on YouTube. Give it a like, see it while it's there before. I don't think they're going to get any flack for it, but go check it out. Well, I already downloaded it so I can make my own physical media of it, because...
You were saying fans do the best stuff sometimes.
Yes, they do. And all credit where credit is due. That comes from the YouTube channel Retro Blasting. The fans are doing the best work. They do the best custom toys. They do the best fan fiction. Some of the fan fiction is better than what's actually out there. I shared in the MeWe group that I have for Star Wars, fans against Disney Star Wars. There's a guy that did this treatment for, he points out in lore in Star Wars, X-Wing fighters, Y-Wing fighters, they all have hyperdrive. They can travel at, faster than light speeds. The TIE fighters are short-range fighters. They don't have faster than light travel, with the exception of the TIE Advanced and the TIE Advanced prototype, which was Darth Vader's TIE fighter. They had, and the TIE Defender. Those have faster than light, but all the grunt ships, they're short-range fighters. They're attached to Star Destroyers or planetary installations. And he points out that in the prequels, the precursor to the TIE Fighter was the Jedi Fighter, right? And in order for that ship to travel at faster than light speeds, it docked with this ring that gave it a one-way hyperspace boost or whatever. And why couldn't the TIE fighters have something similar? So he designed something like that would clip onto the sphere of the TIE fighter and allow it to travel at faster than light speed to wherever, and then it would jettison it with explosive bolts, do its mission, and then wait to be picked up by a Star Destroyer. I thought it was brilliant, and I'm sitting there going, man, this fan put more thought into Star Wars than anybody involved in the sequel frickin' trilogy. You know?
Yeah, well, so getting back to Halloween, are there any, do you like sound effects CDs or albums?
When I was in high school, I volunteered my study hall to work in the library. You should appreciate that. And they had all those sound effect records, long playing records, right?
Yeah.
LPs.
I remember those.
I used to check them out and take them home. And I know you're thinking that I made cassette copies of them. I didn't. Because I didn't see any need to have copies of sound effects. What was I going to do with sound effects? But I enjoyed them. I would take the records home. I'd listen to them. I'd say, that's cool. Bring them back. Especially those Halloween ones, right? Because those were great for ambiance.
Uh-huh.
Nowadays, well, there's plenty of reason to use them on YouTube, doing YouTube videos and stuff.
Oh, sure.
But all that stuff is available on the interwebs now, so I wouldn't need a record, right? But no, what I would bring home was the music records and make copies of them. And they weren't like contemporary stuff. It wasn't, like I was bringing home Bruce Springsteen and stuff like that. I was bringing home, Shostakovich and Bach and Beethoven, and that's what I was making cassettes of. But I was a weird kid.
There was that was one Halloween record I remember as a kid, and it looked terrifying. The whole cover, it was like you had like Dracula and Frankenstein and like this castle in the background, and it was. Remember that one?
Do you remember what were they called? Color forms?
Yeah.
There were these vinyl plastic appliques that you would stick onto. They would cling onto a laminated background.
I remember.
Right? And I had a color forms that was monster themed, kind of universal themed. Dracula, Frankenstein, werewolf, all that kind of stuff. And you would stick them, and the background was a cutaway of a haunted house. And in the basement was Frankenstein's lab and a place for the Dracula's coffin and stuff like that. And I don't remember because that's where I had my focus. But God, I loved that. And what I used to do, it was a flat thing. It was a two-dimensional, down. But what I would do was I would take it and put it up in the box as if it was a 3D, like dollhouse type of thing. And I'd put the
right.
color forms up. You guys, you people that are younger that don't know what color form is, look it up on the interwebs, because the way I'm describing it, I don't think really explains it well. I had the color forms for the these monsters like that. I had a Spider-Man one and I had a Batman one. God, I really loved those.
Skipper Kenner had a GI Joe adventure team color forms.
That does not surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that Colorforms had a G.I. Joe one, and it certainly doesn't shock me that Skipper Kenner had it, because he was Mr. G.I. Joe. Adventure Team. So everybody knows G.I. Joe in two different scales, right? He was the 12-inch figure from the 60s, and he was the 3 3/4-inch figures from the 80s. But in the 70s, there was a transitional period that Skipper Kenner's referring to called the Action Team. And he was in Mego scale. He was 9-inch. And it was just like G.I. Joe, but in the 70s, we started to go through it was very much like it is today, where we had runaway inflation and an oil crisis, and everything got really expensive. Plastic got really expensive because gas was hard to get. If you can't get petroleum, you can't get plastic. So that's why we went from 12 inches to 9 inches to 3 3/4 inches. That's a real quick toy history. But during the 70s, we had the 9-inch G.I. Joe, and they went from military, because they were trying to downplay military, it was post-Vietnam and everything, to more fantasy, adventure, almost Indiana Jones-ish type stuff. And the Adventure Team I got the G.I. Joe that had this black jumpsuit with a laser beam backpack. You know, it would shoot a light out of it. And there was this lizard creature that you'd press the button and his arms would squeeze. And
like a lizard
do a
man?
bear hug. Yeah, like a lizard man, exactly. And there was also like a Neanderthal type character that had armor like He-Man, and he did the same thing. You'd squeeze a button on his back and he'd, crush, G.I. Joe and whatnot. So that was my era of G.I. Joe. I never got into the 80s 3 3/4-inch G.I. Joe because I had one of the 60s 12-inch G.I. Joe with the flocked hair and the beard. And then I got everything, a lot of things, not everything, but a lot of things in the Adventure Team 70s era that was Mego scale. And that G.I. Joe could interact with my World's Greatest Superheroes and Planet of the Apes and, all the other, the Universal Monsters. That was another thing. Mego did this series of monsters that Figures Toy Company did a re-release of. Now, I'm pretty lit right now, so I'm very concerned that I might actually drop some of these figures. So I'm trying to be very, very careful, especially on camera. But
don't drop them.
I did promise that I was going to show this during today's, and I got to move my Headless Horseman, or he's going down. Hold my popcorn.
Do you want me to get that for you?
No, I got it. Real quick, just for you Chicago fans, I got a signature from Svengoolie. I was at a convention, and Nanette and I had sent him. We had bought some lobby cards at a convention and sent them to Svengoolie. We gave them to him at this convention as a gift, and he signed these autographs for us. And then on his show, specifically an episode where he was playing the original Bela Lugosi Dracula, he thanked me and Nanette for for these lobby cards, and he showed the lobby cards on his show, and he read a letter that I had given him at the time. So Figures Toy Company, which is Mego-like, they're basically ripping off Mego. They re-released some figures that Mego had done, their versions back in the 70s of Frankenstein, the Mummy, Dracula, and a re-release of a Svengoolie figure, all in a box set. The reason I haven't bothered to open this is because I've gotten Svengoolie in another set, and opened it. And although I had all of these figures as a kid, I saw no reason to open them because I've got the new Mego figures. I didn't really need to open them. And you know what? I will replace these tomorrow when I'm not lit.
Tell the chat a little bit about who Svengoolie was. Svengoolie.
Okay, so Svengoolie is now nationalized, so he's probably on a local channel that you can watch. But Svengoolie is a horror host from Chicago. Real name Rich Coase. Okay, so think like Elvira. Okay, but male and aging. He's a lot of fun, and he's just kind of a Chicago personality. Rich Coase started out as the son of Svengoolie. Let's go back. Let's go way on back to the 70s. Okay, the original Svengoolie was oh God, what was his name? Bishop, something Bishop. Help me out, Stan, if you're... No. I'm going to have to look it up. Bishop. Svengoolie Bishop. Jerry Bishop. Jerry. You were close. Jerry G. Bishop was the original Svengoolie back in the 70s. And he had this face makeup like a ghoul, with the dark eyes and pale skin and a beard, and dressed like a hippie. And his shtick was he would come up out of the coffin and he would, be the host for, some horror films, a lot of Universal horror films and whatever they could get the license to show in Chicago on WGN. And a big fan of his was Rich Coase, who kind of took over the character of Svengoolie when Bishop moved to California to do other things. And he reached out to Bishop and said, look, I want to take over the show. Can I be called the son of Svengoolie? And he's like, yeah, sure, go ahead and do it, sure. So he was the son of Svengoolie, and he did the same kind of makeup, ghoulish makeup with the dark eyes and pale skin and the mustache. A little bit more of a Groucho Marx kind of style to him.
Okay.
And he wore instead of being the hippie, he wore a top hat and, tux jacket with a red shirt and whatnot. And it was all humorous. He would do these humorous interludes in the middle of the horror movie, right? Very, very much like if you've seen Elvira, same kind of thing. And he just kept going through the 80s, into the 90s. He even changed networks. He was WGN. He was Fox affiliate. He was all over the place. Then he went to CW, and I don't know. He's now on MeTV, and MeTV took him national. So he's probably something you can watch now, right? And it was with Svengoolie that I first saw Dracula and Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and all of those. They were late night. I think they were late night Saturday night. And in the 80s, he hosted Creature from the Black Lagoon. But he hosted a version that was 3D. And you go to 7-Eleven and you would get the red-blue glasses.
You have to buy a Slurpee or something?
I don't remember. If you had to buy something in particular or just go and buy the glasses. And I got a couple pair of glasses for all the people in my house. It's funny because I got these glasses in preparation for the show, and I went for a weekend, very close to when the show was going to be airing. I went to Ohio where my uncle owned a marina, and we always used to make trips out there. And I took a friend of mine with me, and she brought her 3D glasses. She's like, if it's playing this weekend, I want to be able to watch it. I said, it's not playing this weekend, but you wouldn't be able to watch it anyway because Svengoolie was local Chicago. In Mansfield, Ohio, they wouldn't be carrying him. They would now. They didn't back then. So things ended up working out because we made it home and we were able to watch it in 3D, which I thought was kind of cool. It was that red-blue. So, like, I mean, you guys have all seen Creature from the Black Lagoon. So there'd be this scene where he'd be swimming and he'd do this, which was kind of neat. The fish would be, like, in the foreground. But there wasn't a great deal of 3D to it. But the original Creature from the Black Lagoon was done in 3D, and Svengoolie, did that again in the late 70s, early 80s. It was really kind of neat. But yeah, that's what Svengoolie is. You can look him up on the YouTubes, and he's done a lot of parody songs. He did gosh, I can't even imagine, but a lot of them are available on YouTube. Really worth checking out. It's a lot of fun. Real quick, speaking of Wolfmen, let me say hi to Wolf 10 Media. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you in the chat. Yeah, Skipper Kenner, thank you. I did get Jerry. I had to look it up. I got to it before I think you did. But Svengoolie is basically a bad joke horror host who rocks. Yes, that's a great example. That's a great explanation of what he is. He tells bad jokes, but they are freaking awesome. I remember back in the 80s, he had and a lot of his sketches, he's not even in his Svengoolie outfit. He's playing other characters. And it kind of Saturday Night Live-ish, And he did one where he played a executive for CBS or something like that. And he's taking calls from people that are calling in. And I just remember one joke that he made. He goes, "Yes, hello? Oh, I'm glad to hear that you like that Wonder Woman show. Yes. You want to see more of her? Well, I'm sorry, that's as small as the outfit gets." Hangs up. I remember that for years. I specifically remember it because the episode that aired that week of Wonder Woman was an episode where she was trying to defuse a bomb, but she couldn't stand on the floor because it was pressure sensitive. It would set off the bomb. So she was hanging upside down by her lasso. And you remember the outfit she wore, and she's reaching above her to disarm the bomb. And I was thinking, wow. I started going through puberty at the time. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. But I'm trying to think, though.
Svengoolie, gosh. Guys, Svengoolie means a lot to people of our age range, and especially those that grew up in the Chicago area, but I would encourage you to just do a little Google foo if you're young, you've never heard of Svengoolie. Check him out. There's clips of him online. Totally worth it. And this is the time of year to do it because he is just awesome. He's up there with the Bozo Show when you think Chicago entertainment, I'll be talking more as we get into the holiday season, especially into Christmas, talking about some Chicago memories related to Christmas, but Svengoolie is the Halloween memory from the Chicago area. Definitely worth checking out.
Well, back in those days, every area had their own horror host, right?
Yeah, it was more. It's kind of like drive-ins, right? They were far more common back then, and they're kind of disappearing. Right now, the only three I can think of: Svengoolie, Elvira, and Vampira. Those are the only 3 horror hosts I can even think of. They're the ones that lasted the longest in the zeitgeist of memory. And Svengoolie's still going. He's keeping the tradition alive, you know? But, yeah, I've got his action figure. I've even got, well, they put out several different versions of Svengoolie, right? 3 of them in his red shirt, black tux, and top hat. But one of them in the shirt that he is selling on MeTV, which actually glows in the dark, just like the real shirt does. But the most recent one they put out comes with a mock-up of the coffin that he's in, which I thought was funny because I had bought that exact same coffin from Figures Toy Company to do a custom version.
Checks.
No personal checks. Yeah, that was always the shtick. He would talk about it, the T-shirts he was selling, and you know, they cost this much and whatnot, and but no personal checks. He never takes personal checks. But
Okay.
and he's, for some reason, he's real into rubber chickens. People throw rubber chickens at him at the end of the show, and he holds up a shield that's got crossed rubber chickens to protect himself from the rubber chickens. And
What?
yeah, it's part of it. Have you never seen Svengoolie?
No.
Really?
New York area. I don't know who the guy we had was. I think he was like a mad scientist type of guy.
Sure.
But I don't remember what his name was. I know later on I used to watch. Joe
Do you have a MeTV affiliate where you're
might.
at?
Yeah, I may. Yeah.
If
I
you
see
do,
he's on there. Okay.
I think he's still. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, Skipper Kenner, let me know. I think he's still playing. I haven't been paying attention, but
I'm wondering if it was Dr. Paul Bear or if that was the guy in my area. That might have been the New York area. I could be wrong though.
Matthew Flynn, welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. And he says he's got a copy of Creature from the Black Lagoon. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think they've ever released it in the 3D version, but you can imagine. You know, it's not great 3D. It's not like woo coming at you 3D. You know, it's just 3D. You know. But he explained the rubber chickens as being easier to clean up than fruit and vegetables when thrown. That actually makes a lot of sense. And earlier on, he used to get all of his rubber chickens from Bishop's Magic Shop. Okay, so remember I mentioned Jerry G. Bishop, okay, who was the original Svengoolie. They had a magic shop in the north suburbs. No, I'm sorry. The western suburbs. And this is kind of funny. I used to go to that magic shop all the time. It's where I got my first costume. My first, adult cosplay costume. The 89 Batman costume. And I bought it piecemeal. I bought the cowl. I bought the cape. And then over time, I bought all the rest of the pieces. And they used to have a really cool shtick there. And I'm sure all magic shops did this. They would show you a magic trick. And if you wanted to learn how it was done, you had to buy the magic trick, right? So I learned a lot of magic from Jerry G. Bishop. Did not even realize he was the original Svengoolie at the time. I mean, this was, many years later. I was like, oh, he was this big celebrity. It was like a Clark Kent Superman thing. I was friends with Clark Kent. I idolized Superman. Didn't even know, right? Same thing. I used to go to Bishop's Magic Shop all the time, get magic tricks from him, bought the Batman costume from him. After he moved away and the shop closed up, I found out he was the original Svengoolie. That was wild.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like Dr. Paul Bear actually was not New York, New Jersey. He was Florida, my part of St. Petersburg, around that area.
See, that's the crazy. You can, you could go down some crazy rabbit holes with syndication of these characters. Same thing is true with Bozo the Clown. There were multiple Bozo the Clowns in different cities. And the one you were watching might not be from your city. He might have been from another city that, was syndicating it in your city. But the longest lasting Bozo the Clown was the one here in Chicago, which is the inspiration for Krusty the Clown in The Simpsons.
Bozo.
Bob Bell.
Yep, Bob Bell. Bob Bell was the inspiration for Krusty the Clown. Hey! He had that smoker's voice. Yeah, that's intentional. That is intentional.
Okay.
Welcome to Krusty's Comedy Classics. KK. Oh, that's not good.
Krusty the Clown. Oh.
I mean, do you know Bozo the Clown?
I've heard of him. I've never seen him.
That's a shame because I
grew
grew up
with
with Bozo.
Man. I was a child of the
Bozo
80s.
the Clown.
Okay.
Bozo the Clown, and his sidekick was Cookie the Clown, right? And so you got it. It's a circus, right? You had Fraser Thomas was the ringleader, and Bozo was the main clown, and the kind of sad clown was Cookie, who also was the cook that cooked in the commissary that made the food for the circus. Marshall Brodeen, do you know about Marshall Brodeen magic cards and whatnot?
No.
Marshall Brodeen was what clown was he? He was the magician clown.
TV magic cards.
Yes, but Wizzo the wizard. And he'd do the magic tricks and stuff. Actually, Nanette's father was friends with Marshall Brodeen. Actually knew him, and he used to do magic tricks for Nanette.
Huh.
She used to refer to him as Uncle Marshall. That was my era of. I know that there was a previous ringleader before Fraser Thomas. I don't remember his name.
I need to visit Chicago to be indoctrinated.
Matthew Flint. You're right. That was kind of funning. Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Help me out. I'm getting fuzzy right now from the cognac, so you got to be very clear with me. Age of Boomer needs to visit Chicago and be indoctrinated.
Ned Locke, Ringmaster Ned.
Ringmaster Ned, yes, that's right. Yeah, that was just slightly before my time.
Hey,
but
I've eaten Pizzeria Uno. That's Chicago style pizza.
Yes, Pizzeria Uno, and Giordano's. Yeah, we'd take you there, no doubt about that. Look, but the fact is, I don't go into the city anymore. There are Giordano's and stuff like that out in the suburbs that I could take you to if you come up this way.
Cool.
The city is not a place you want to be anymore. That Summer of Love made its way to Chicago, and a buddy of mine who's an attorney was talking about a friend of his who was literally on Michigan Avenue and got carjacked. I'm like,
wow.
Fuck it. I'm not going into the city anymore. Fuck that shit. I'm done. But you know what? All of this TV stuff I'm talking about, that's what YouTube's for. All that stuff is out there. You can check it out. It's out there. And like I said, go to metv.com and find out what your local affiliate is. I'll bet you have one in the greater Florida area. And I'll bet you that Rich Coase is Svengoolie is on Saturday nights. I'll bet you.
Cool. Well, I'll look for him. But
Ed DeBevick's just reopened on Ohio. Okay, do you know what Ed DeBevick's is?
No.
Okay, so think of a 50s diner. Okay.
Oh.
but like bigger themed restaurant in a city.
I like diners, yeah.
And they have all kinds of, memorabilia and stuff in there.
They have burgers and shakes and that sort of thing.
They've got incredible burgers and shakes and fries. And the wait staff is all a lot of fun, but very, very rude. Kind of that Happy Days kind of style, At least that's the way it used to be. I don't know if they're still doing that. But
no, they had to clean up the rack, I'm sure. I'm kidding. I don't know. Ah.
But yeah, they had closed up for a long time, and Skipper Kenner's saying they reopened. That's great. I'm glad to hear they've reopened, but I don't go into the city anymore. I'm done. I'm done with Chicago. I really am. I love Chicago. I love the history of Chicago. I loved growing up in and around Chicago. It's now a memory to me. I will not go back there. It's just no more than I want to go to California or, Colorado or anything on the left coast. I mean, I don't know.
I see what you mean.
Honestly, I want to get out of Illinois altogether, to be honest with you.
So what do we got scheduled for the upcoming weeks for Halloween? Do you want to do any horror rewatches?
So next week we're going to do another transatlantic special, but this one's going to be Halloween themed. Tried not to talk to him too much offline, but Matt of Bud Boy Productions, I said I'd like to do a Halloween themed transatlantic and just kind of compare and contrast what's Halloween like for you growing up in the UK, what's Halloween like for us growing up in the United States. I'm guessing it's really different, but I don't want to talk about it until we're online next week and we can all kind of share it together.
And then we do the Tom Cruise Mummy movie rewatch the following week.
Okay.
Ah!
Sure. No, yeah.
I was joking. Did you want to do that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking Brandon Fraser.
No, I was talking about the Tom Cruise. We probably should do that at some point, though, to see where everything went wrong with the cinematic universe.
We should, but we should do Tom Cruise first, or we should
Brandon Fraser.
Brandon Fraser. We should do Brandon Fraser first. Look, Tom Cruise is getting used to being pushed off till later. He's got 2 movies this year that have gotten pushed off to 2022.
Hey, Skipper, it wasn't all bad. It kind of was, but...
Tom Cruise, sweet Jesus, man. I was just drunk enough to mistake Tom Cruise for Brandon Fraser. That's how much I'm enjoying tonight. No. Let's do this. Let's do Bud Boy next week. Transatlantic Halloween special. Following week, we do the first Brandon Fraser film, and we'll take it from there. So you've got 2 weeks, people. If you don't already have Brandon Fraser's The Mummy on a DVD, get it, or see if you can stream it, or go to the high seas, or do whatever you got to do. Okay?
I like The Mummy. I saw that week before Phantom Menace, remember?
Yes, I do.
That came out the week before Phantom Menace. They said.
I also remember sitting in the theater watching Phantom Menace, being all excited. Oh boy, it's Star Wars again! It's Star Wars again! And at the end of the movie, I was like, "Huh?
You had to let it sink in."
Yeah, and it wasn't until the sequel trilogy came out that I was like, you know what? Those prequels were pretty damn good.
In comparison, yes.
Right? There's a. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back to Mego. Okay, remember Mego? If you've seen Robot Chicken, and they do all those sketches with the Mego figures,
yeah,
that all started with a magazine called Toy Fair. Okay, Toy Fair did before the internet. Okay. They used to do all the talking about the new toys that were coming out and so forth. And they had a little segment that was like comic book style version of what eventually became Robot Chicken. Mego figures acting out humorous scenarios. And there was a Twisted Toy, they called it Twisted Toy Fair Theater. And in one story, it was Spider-Man and the Hulk going to see, I can't remember if it was the Phantom Menace or one of the prequels, right? And through the whole thing, Spider-Man is making jokes about it, and that was actually quite funny. He's making all these jokes about it, kind of like heckling it, kind of Mystery Science Theater 3000 style. And Hulk is absolutely silent. Hulk goes into it all excited. Hulk real excited. Star Wars is back in the theaters. Da, 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 da. And at the end of it, after Peter has completely pissed all over, the prequel, he realizes, oh, I'm sitting next to the Hulk. Hey, big guy, what did you think? And Hulk's just sitting there real quiet, and you could see that Spider-Man's getting nervous, and Hulk goes, Hulk, loved it! That was the best thing ever! And he's like, really?
He's a big Natalie Portman fan, right?
Well, I mean, in fairness,
Yeah.
if I was Anakin, she'd have gotten me through puberty.
Queen Amidala. Padme
Queen, I'm gonna sit on you, let me tell you.
All right.
I edited myself. I almost took it all the way and didn't.
Wolf 10 has a comment for you.
Oh, Courtney, we are wrapping up, so thanks for hanging out with us. Have a great evening. And Skipper Kenner did say it was originally Twisted Mego Theater. It became Twisted Toy Fair Theater a year or so in. Yeah. Because they weren't always using just Mego figures, so they kind of had to. I'm sorry, what were you... Oh, you were looking at Wolf 10's comment?
Wolf 10 had a comment for you, I think.
I work, Papa Pacelli, so yeah. By the by, I thought the Mummy billboard was part of a museum exhibit or a documentary. Yeah, right. I dig that. Skipper Kenner, my favorite panel from the episode 1 Twisted Mego Theater was the Thing dressed as Leia asking for a cigar, and Spidey's comment was, I thought Lucas had a lawyer to prevent this sort of thing. Oh. Holy crap. Oh, that's great stuff, man. Oh, that's great. And I gotta say, I don't normally bring this up during a stream, but you see that? That is the end of my Cavassier. I have no more cognac, and that's a sad thing. But the link is in the description if you want to buy me a drink. Just saying. If you've enjoyed the show and you want to buy me a drink, you think Drunk Troy is more fun than Sober Troy? Just saying.
I will buy you a drink in honor of your recent news that you are now a... Yes.
Okay, no, go ahead and say it. You can say it.
You're an informant of sorts now. You were mentioned on Midnight's Edge, weren't you?
Yes.
Or,
so and if you're not, I don't know why, but you should be following Midnight's Edge because a lot of our information comes from Midnight's Edge. We acknowledge that, right? Midnight's Edge refers to Stephanie Janashek as one of their primary sources. Stephanie Janashek, who you've seen on my channel as a guest many times. Well, she is a source for Kamran Pasha, regular contributor to Midnight's Edge. And just today, Kamran Pasha was on Midnight's Edge sharing about the Kathleen Kennedy's receiving an award from the Kerry International Film Festival over in Ireland. And that was a piece of information I passed to Stephanie Janashek that she in turn passed on to Kamran so that he could talk about it on Midnight's Edge. I'm one of their informants. Isn't that neat? So you hear about these informants for these big YouTubers. Today I was one of them. That doesn't mean a lot, but I
It's
was
something.
encouraged. I was encouraged. It meant a lot to me. Look, I've been so fired up to have people like, Matt from Bud Boys Entertainment, Stephanie Yanishek, uh, 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 Mexican Iron Man on my channel. I feel like I'm hobnobbing with the big guys, and then that happens. I'm like, whew, I've hit the big time. I don't care if I ever get monetized or get enough subscribers to matter. I'm having a buttload of fun. I really am. Just now I set up my Patreon and Subscribestar. But you guys are not furries, I understand. So are we not allowed to patronize you if we're not furries, Wolf 10? Because now that I know that you have... Yeah, no, I'll go through Subscribestar, though, if I'm going to support you in any way. Given a preference, I'd rather go through Subscribestar. But, yeah. So I didn't mean to get into anything too deeply tonight. I really meant for this to be a kind of an intro to the season and to set up what we'd be talking about, get some feedback from you. Remember, I really pay attention to your comments. I go back and rewatch these videos. If I've missed one of your comments, I'll read it later on. By all means, put it in, after the stream ends, put comments below because it helps the algorithm, helps my videos get out, but it's easier for me to refer to there than it is here in the stream where I got to go through the whole video to find stuff. But by all means, suggest to me things you'd like me to talk about, subjects you'd like me to discuss, especially for this month, some of your Halloween memories. See if we've chewed some of the same ground, seen some of the same movies, bought some of the same, horror themed toys and stuff like that. I'd love to hear about it. And, if you're in the age group with me and Age of Boomer and Netter and Courtney and Stan there, grew up through the 70s and whatnot, some of your memories of that period in time too, I'd love to hear that. You new guys, you younger people, share with us old farts, your version of the things that I've shared about. I'd love to hear a lot of that stuff.
So tomorrow on Netter's channel, you've got...
Tomorrow on Netter's channel, we will be watching a classic film, pretty good for the season, Arsenic and Old Lace.
And I only need 9 more subscribers to make my...
Netter only needs 9 more subscribers, so go to Netter's network and subscribe to her and help her get to... the milestone she wants to. Not that this is going to get us anywhere near getting monetized. That's not really the goal. We have our own personal goals that just make us feel good and encouraged. So let's see real quick. Let me read those last couple comments. I have a robot monster outfit and a slightly open mind. If that helps, yes, it absolutely does. Oh, God, Stan, you're a weirdo. I mean, if any one of you are not too privy to the furry scene, I know that stuff comes with a warning. Dude, I understand that furries run the gambit just like, every other thing. I'm not worried. You're good people. I'm fine with it. Skipper Kenner giggles. Furries are a skip over topic at times due to the craziness. Yeah, there are some weird people in your community. Just saying.
And Sunday we got Geeky Geezers.
Yes, you're trying to keep me on track. See, this is why you're my designated driver.
We're
Sunday,
talk
Geeky
about
Geezers.
We have ScarJo.
Bless you, Netter. And yes, a lot of the stuff that we've talked about tonight, we will talk about in detail, and we'll bring receipts on Sunday. Geeky Geezers is a great way to get your weekly dose of geek news if you're not following it, in other places. We kind of bring it all together for you. Tuesday, Mr. Matchstick's channel, Culture Fortress. Are you talking about something specific that night, Agent Boomer?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Lucio Fulci movies.
The fuck is that? No,
Okay,
never mind.
for starters,
We'll find out on
you know,
Tuesday.
you're a proud Italian. You don't even know who Lucio Fulci is. I will have to educate you.
I don't
on
know
Tuesday.
people that are involved in all these spaghetti westerns that Netter's a big fan of.
Oh,
you know?
he made one. Lucio Fulci made a spaghetti.
I'm
western.
sure he probably did. That
He made a
kind of
lot
makes
of different
sense.
movies. He made a sword and sorcery film too, which I've not seen, but it had a topless woman with a mask on for the whole
Hill.
movie.
I know you're a big Terrence Hill fan, sweetie. We did a rewatch on. Actually, it was on my channel. We would have done it on your channel if we could have gotten you set
I believe
up.
Wolf 10's going to be on it as well, so that'll be cool.
And Wolf 10 Media is going to be on there. I will be talking about Hellraiser. Okay? So I will give you the lowdown on what Hellraiser movies are absolute musts to see, which ones are you could totally skip and not miss anything. Not all of them are good. And we'll talk a little bit about where it's going and why some people are saying it's gone SJW. I'm saying hold off on that judgment.
Wait, it's horror. I have to admit, horror is a rather difficult genre to even add the woke stuff. Even like some of the Jordan Peele stuff that I've seen, I wouldn't even call that woke because I know the fears it's examining and.
Just to and not to take anything away from Culture Fortress, we'll get into the details there, but just to front load it, the upcoming Hellraiser reboot, I guess it is, apparently the Hell Priest, what you probably call Pinhead, is going to be played by a woman. This should not be seen as a gender swap. And I will talk more about why you shouldn't think of it that way on Tuesday on Culture Fortress on Mr. Matchstick's channel. Make sure you like and subscribe over there. What else we got going on this week, Agent Boomer?
Oh, they did ruin Candyman. I don't know about that. What? Well, I'm sure Wolf 10's
Wednesday. What are we doing Wednesday?
Oh, Wednesday for Daniel Howard. We're doing The Omen.
If I don't have a D&D game, I will definitely be in the stream watching that.
Yeah, we're going to do The Omen. We're going to try to do all four of them. Well, not the three movies and the remake, which remake will be interesting. So will Final Conflict, which...
Dude, if you're going to do all four, do Omen 1, 2, 3, and 4.
No,
Don't do the remake.
We're not doing the made for TV. This is a soundtrack podcast.
But the made for TV has Faye Grant in it.
We could do... tell you what,
Faye Grant from V.
I'll watch it. We can maybe discuss it. Okay,
make sure you watch it because
I have it in
Faye
my
Grant.
Set, but
I'm
we're
just
talking
saying.
about scores. This thing is what's the score like? It doesn't necessarily mean the movie is great.
When V came out, I wanted to score with Faye Grant. Let me tell you.
A Wolf that says Hell Priest is genderless. Yes, but Troy would argue Hell Priest was genderless in the original writing.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
Yeah. The original story that Hellraiser.
He's saying that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The original story was The Hellbound Heart. It was a short story. No, I'm sorry. It was a novella, which is kind of a short story, that Clive Barker wrote. The Hell Priest was described as androgynous. So I suppose casting a woman probably would have been the appropriate way to go. They didn't. They went with Doug Bradley. Doug Bradley did a phenomenal job as the Hell Priest. He is iconic as Pinhead. However, Clive Barker wants to go back to his roots and start over again the way he originally envisioned it, and I don't necessarily see a problem with that. One of the things I might even talk about on Tuesday is the whole rights issue, which we'll talk about on Sunday when we talk about Marvel and what's going on with rights issues over there. But a creator has a right to recoup the rights to what they've created. And it happened with Clive Barker. It's happening with the estate of Kirby and Ditko and stuff. We'll talk about that later. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday, The Omen. If I'm not gaming that night, I will definitely be watching with you. I have all of them on DVD.
Cool. All right.
Wolf 10. I'm assuming you've. I'm sorry, I'm getting blurry-eyed, so I can't read your comments now. But hopefully you've told people what you're doing on Tuesday and Thursday, if anything, because I see the Wolf 10 rambles. I am way behind. I will get caught up, I promise.
All right, cool. But it should be a fun week.
And that brings us to next Friday, where we'll be with
talking about that sweet British chocolate they have over there, which is
they
probably
do
better
have
than
good chocolate over there. They
yes.
really do. Oh, and today we actually received a package from the UK that Matt from Bud Boy Productions sent us. Those of you that follow him know that he had a package of Kendall Mint cake that he had gotten for us. We couldn't get them shipped to the U.S., so he functioned as a British intermediary for us. I said, take advantage of it while we can before he moves here to the States.
So that sounds delightful.
Yep, we'll talk about that a little bit next week, too.
All right. Maybe I'll buy a British confection at the store and try it live for the first time on air. Maybe I'll do that.
You should.
I'll find something in the store.
Your local grocery store probably has a British section.
There's a British section, yes. There's a British section. There's also I think a Mexican section now. So they got different things there now. So
well, you're in Florida. If you don't have a Mexican section, what's wrong with Florida?
I don't. What's wrong with Florida?
Tell me the latest about Florida, man. No, that's another show.
We'll do that place. Another time. Anyway, yes. All right. But I had fun tonight. And you're done with the cognac.
Yep. I have no more cognac, so buy me a drink, people. I gotta replenish my cognac supply.
And don't forget,
I'm going into winter without cognac. I might freeze to death. Come on, help me out, people.
You should watch a super scary movie after your stream.
What do you recommend?
I don't know. Is there something you haven't seen that been meaning to get around to it? Shout Factory. I will say this. That Shout Factory TV site I was telling you about, it's pretty cool. You can download the app on a device. You can just watch it on the computer. If you watch it on your computer, you don't get any commercials either. And they have all kinds of Elvira episodes on there. They have MSC3K. They have lots of different horror movies like Sleepaway Camp. Remember Sleepaway Camp?
I know the ending of Sleepaway Camp.
Okay, well, we won't say anything more on that.
There was a horror film. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was with oh gosh, the guy from the Lord of the Rings.
Elijah Wood?
Yeah. What was it called? The
Maniac?
Maniac?
That was a remake.
Was it?
Yes. The original remake had who was in it? The guy who always played kind of creepers in movies, Maniac. What was the original 1970 movie? Hold on. Give me a minute. Joe Spinell? Yes, Joe Spinell. You know Joe Spinell?
I don't think so.
Plays like the sleazy lawyer in Vigilante. You remember Vigilante? No? I don't know. Carolyn Monroe's in it as well. Maniac's a disturbing slasher. If you have that one on your shelf, that would be an interesting one to watch.
I do. I learned. I do learn a lot from you, and that's one of the reasons I keep you around, man. Because I learned so much from you. You know.
It's called a psychological slasher film, according to Wikipedia. It was made in 1980.
A psychological slasher, as opposed to
it's a bunch of BS. Okay,
a slasher, a lowbrow slasher.
I think he has mommy issues, so he goes after women in New York City, and just it's a disturbing movie.
But the reason I brought the Maniac up is because I obtained a copy of that film and just because I was interested and I want to check it out. So
All right, well, you can watch that one. Let me know what you think.
that's what I'm going to do. Yep.
All right. It's late.
I mean, that's it for me, people. I'm pretty lit right now, so I think it's time to end the stream before I say something that can get me in trouble.
Okay.
So I thank you all for being here. We mentioned all the crap that's going on for the next week. Please join us for it because it's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Take care.
Good night.